morning, everyone, and welcome to Coffee and Astrology with the Academy of Logic and Light. And we've got our teachers here today are Julie and Elle, and we're so excited to have you both. And today we're talking about Uranus. I'm going to try to do my best to keep a Uranus tally, and we've got 2 so far. So everybody grab your birth charts from astro.com and get ready for some exciting talk and just a fun time over here. I know I've been running around this morning to make things happen, so it's been great. But let me introduce the Academy of Logic and Light a little bit. So we are an educational platform here to help everybody kind of find their own path and avoid the indoctrination that can happen as people start getting involved in like spiritual practices. So we just want to provide as much information and with as few strings attached as possible. And so we're so glad that Elle and Julie are here to teach with us and help us spread, knowledge, make things more accessible to everybody. I'm Megan, by the way. I think I already said that. Anyway, and so we've got lots of fun stuff coming up. Especially in the new year, I know we have some fun classes planned to be coming out. We just had a big meeting yesterday and talked about more things. So it's on the horizon. The future is bright. We're so excited. And so that's the Academy. If you want to teach with us or you're interested in it, you can find links down below. You can send us a message on social medias, or you can email us as well at academyoflogicandlight.org is our website.
But doesn't roll off the tongue.
Yeah, academyoflogicandlight@gmail.com is our whatever it's called, email. That's what it is. Don't worry, guys. It's fine. All right. Well, I'm going to roll a little introduction. I'll turn the time over to our teachers. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. And, we'll see you on the other side.
Thank you.
Thanks, Megan.
Good morning. This is the funniest thing that we did not plan this look.
Glasses, beanie, hood, flannel.
Also, I'm obsessed with the band Brand New.
Yeah,
this is so funny. I'm obsessed with the band Brand New too.
Oh, I love Brand New.
And like when it gets
cold, really, you need to listen. The fall, I'm telling you, when it starts getting cold, there's like no better feeling than like some Brand New and it's like a cup of coffee. Oh my gosh, it is amazing.
I have it on vinyl.
Oh, I love that. Have you seen they have a new record? They have a new.
No.
Maybe it's not new. I guess I don't know. I just realized I was looking for vinyls to purchase to like put up for decor, and I saw Brand New, and I was like, wait, I've never seen this album cover before, and it's like 2 chicks jumping off a balcony.
Oh, maybe I have seen that.
Yeah, I haven't made it through it yet, but it does have some good songs on there. So
we're like the pumpkin spice latte, like grunge, like mood this morning.
I love it.
It's
I'm
so
actually
funny.
next time, maybe not next time, but within the next couple of weeks, I'm locking my entire head of hair.
I'm excited to see this.
I'm doing extensions, and I'm gonna like for real, not the braidins, not the fake.
Yeah.
Like I'm going balls to the wall.
How exciting! That's so
very
exciting. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just gonna give. I love that. I'm just gonna give everyone a fair warning that my meds are gonna. I just had surgery, so my meds are gonna kick in sometime in the middle of this episode. So stay tuned.
I told her she should have done this for next week, or not next week, but Neptune, because that's the like fantasy fun, imagination crazy.
I'll be on meds then too. Don't worry, there's plenty of meds to go around.
I love it.
All right. So I say this Uranus because I noticed like people just really cannot get past Uranus when I'm talking about astrology, and it's hard to rein people's attention back in afterwards. But I've heard people say it every way.
I know. I'm like, I say Uranus, so you can judge us on how the different ways that we all say Uranus, whatever.
Yeah.
I should have Googled how you actually should say it, but Uranus is just what's in my head, and I didn't plan on trying to change or shift that. So if I'm saying it incorrectly, just know that I'm illiterate, and that's okay. I'm okay with that.
Amanda always says, hooked on phonics didn't work for me.
No, fuck that.
Okay, so we're talking about outer planets. We finally moved out to we did one more outer planet, I think. So we're heading into Uranus, 2 outer planets. Okay. We're getting closer to the end. Neptune and Pluto are left, which is crazy. I started the Word documents for those, and I'm excited I learned a lot, actually. Obviously, I always do. Doing these slides. Yeah, so this is the planet of change and originality, symbolizing the elements of surprise in your life. Uranus brings about sudden events and opportunities. It awakens, shocks, and revolutionizes. It is responsible for the flash of human genius that creates something new, whether it be art or science.
What is yours? Just real fast. Sagittarius. It's probably Sagittarius.
It is.
Yeah, because
now I'm like, I need to look.
When you have like your group of friends and you're all around the same age, the chances of you having the same is very highly because it's around the same time. So,
and of course my Wi-Fi is out, so I'm having to hotspot from my phone during all of this. Just like extra fun. I'm just double checking. Yeah, Uranus. Yeah, 7 degrees in Sag.
Nice.
In the 5th. No, in the 4th house.
That's interesting. Mine's in the 12th house.
Oh wow, that's so interesting.
It's fun. It's a good time.
The planet of change and chaos is in your 12th house. Damn. Okay. I'm like trying to process that. Okay, so as always, we've got our planet is the what, the sign is the how, the house is the where, and the dynamic, the aspects are the dynamics. So keep that in mind as we're going through your charts. You're not just your sign. You're not just your house. Reflective questions. Do you often take an action that has no rhyme or reason? Are you attracted to an unusual line of work or to odd, colorful people? Do you feel that you are a more inventive thinker than those around you? Do you take an interest in modern science and the latest discoveries in the world? Are you known for startling pronouncements or being an unusual character? Yes.
All of those.
Yes.
Sagittarius, Uranus. I'm telling you, there's something to be said when you have that going for you.
Yeah. I was like, I relate to all of that. I love keeping the weirdos around me.
Oh, you're eccentric? Let's be friends.
Yeah, I was like, hello, let me just introduce myself as weird.
Yeah.
It's out of the way.
Name not important. Weird. Capricorn.
Yeah,
weird.
and even funnier is that Uranus is such a weird planet, but it's ruled by Aquarius, which just makes so much sense. Like the most weirdos besides Pisces.
Yeah.
And then the 11th house, the detriment is Leo, element is air. The time spent in each sign is 7 years. Because Uranus stays in one sign for years, what matters the most is the house it follows in. This indicator tells us where you are and where you're an individual and where you cannot follow. It is important for you to know the sign that Uranus occupies in your horoscope in order to see where your own originality and special self-expression can be best utilized. So write us in the comments too. Tell us where you're watching from. Tell us your name because we can't see. And then let us know what sign your Uranus is in. We want to know. Influences are freedom, changes, chaos, the unexpected, and the genius. Aquarius qualities are ambitious, leader, and conservative. 11th house qualities, community, society, progress, and I don't know it. What else? Something internal maybe. I did these yesterday on pain meds, so
Fine. It's perfect.
bear with me. And with one hand.
I think you're doing great.
The basics of Uranus are dynamic, eccentric, extravagant, unpredictability, and genius. Viewing Uranus from real life, the planet was found in 1781 during the Revolutionary War and represents breaking all the rules, not following. That is what we do. To go against the norm. Maverick and nonconformist points to Uranus. Megan.
Drinking a monster. Lucky.
Just a casual morning beverage. Archetypes associated with Uranus: the trickster, the sky god. Themes: creation, newness, freedom, non-traditionalism, intuition, trickery, invention, revolution, science, change, excess, individuality, discovery, deviation, and eccentricity. All right, now we get into the good stuff.
Into the signs. All right, so as we talked about, it stays in the sign in Uranus for 7 years and the planet for 7 years. So it's very likely that when you have a group of friends around the same age that you all have the same Uranus. But it is different. The house is really what kind of drives this, and also aspects in your chart. So if you have a Sun trine Uranus, it might be a little stronger. My chart dominant is Sagittarius, and it's because my Sagittarius Uranus in the house, the placement, and the degree that it's in rules my entire chart. So I am a Libra, but this rules my whole chart. So it's pretty interesting how the degrees and just aspects can really magnify certain planets in your chart. So this one's mine. And to learn that, you'd have to really study astrology, and we could go into that. And that's why we do personal readings for everyone, because there are so many factors. This isn't so much of a personality thing. Again, the outer planets are more about directions in life. So one of the things I want to touch on is, Julie, we're around the same age. So we are these first years, or I'd have to look, but it's every 7 years, but it's also kind of like a phase of that whatever sign that the Uranus is in at the time. So I truly feel like we're millennials, but we're like older millennials. We have
the elder millennials.
Older millennials. But we have this energy of working like millennials. We have a way of thinking very differently, but we also apply, and I'm not saying that millennials, youngers, are not hard workers. That is not what I'm saying at all. But we work differently. We create and we move differently. We just do. I've seen it. There might be an occasional older millennial that acts more younger millennial, or vice versa. But realistically, we do move differently. So if you're, your Uranus, ours is in Sagittarius, and we'll kind of go through the signs. But I just want to touch on how it works in the time that it's in the sign. So when it's in Aries, when it's in Taurus, it's kind of like you can have certain qualities, but there are beginning the degrees that are, a little lower versus the degrees that are a little higher. So there is kind of that there. I don't even know if that makes sense, but so there's that there. My illiterate ways are coming out. But it does impact. And so a lot of things with this, I'm going to go through each of the signs, but one of the things that I want you to start looking at is look at your sun sign, look at your moon sign. Are they in the same element? We'll start there. Do they trine each other? So if your sun and your Uranus are the same, they work, it kind of magnifies it. If it's a square, if it's completely, a square of the Uranus, then it might be a more challenging, and it may not show up as loud. So try to start incorporating that in looking at your birth charts, is trying to associate your different signs, because your sun and your moon are really going to drive you on how your Uranus takes flight, and the house that it's in. But we're doing houses next week. So back to what we were talking, just a little tidbit, but Uranus and Aries. So this is very this person is very demanding in how they make change in the world. They show up, they're fierce, they're a leader, they're, same Aries energy that we talk about every week, but this is how this person creates this innovative life, is by being aggressive, being loud, being a leader, being strong. They just really tend to be bold in how they make changes. This isn't the subtle, oh, hey, maybe guys, we should change this. No, it's like, hey, here's what we're gonna do, and here's why. And this kind of energy is what it changes. I mean, social norms, third world countries that are going, that people are trying to make changes to. These people are there, they're direct, they're on the front line, they're the warriors of change. They're strong in their inhibitions, and they just push forward and make it happen. So if you have a Uranus and Aries, look at the other placements in your chart, look at the house that it's in, because that's the direction of life it's going to kind of gear towards. But just know that, in your life, the things that change abruptly and that you move, I mean, it probably happens very often with an Aries, because it's a cardinal sign. It's the first sign energy. So it's like a starter of all things. And so you might see yourself being the person that always starts the change, always makes the change happen, puts it into place, and takes action with it. So your Uranus is an Aries, good for you. You're probably a real trendsetter / innovator of the world change. And it's a good thing to have, especially if you have things that complement that in your chart. Maybe a Sagittarius sun. Uranus in Taurus, little different energy, shows up very differently. Taurus is about possessions and security and stability and all the earthy things. So this is a place, depending on aspects and houses, that really changes through possessions. Really helps stabilize things. Like, you may not be the one starting, or you may not be the front line, but you're the one, that's really in there making changes in a very subtle, more consistent way. Maybe it's a slower time. Maybe it's just being patient and letting things unfold. Again, very different than the Aries energy. And again, it depends on the house. I mean, you could have a Taurus Uranus in the first house, or the 10th house would be a good one, the 9th house, and it really pushes you to do bold things, but in a very subtle way. Again, the way that you go about doing the things is very subtle, very Taurus energy. So practicality here is, does it make sense? Like, no, it doesn't make sense to stomp into, a village of people and just whatever. I mean, they think about things that are more practical versus the Aries that would storm into the village and ready for war. Taurus is not ready for war. Taurus is ready for
More of a
snacks.
feminine energy.
Yes. And snacks.
Yeah.
This isn't a personality.
Always pack snacks.
Always. Oh yeah, the Taurus friends always come with snacks.
Yeah. We had two friends doing a road trip, and I think it was Amanda and Kaylee, an Aries and a Sagittarius, going on a road trip, like a 10-hour road trip, completely forgot to pack snacks. And all they packed was alcohol. And then me and Shannon were sitting at the house on the same day, and we're both earth signs, and we just sent a picture of our table full of snacks, and we're not going anywhere.
This is what it is. Yeah, that's when you need Meg and Kate. You need the cat. I don't know why I just called her Kate. Yeah. Jesus, sorry.
Yeah.
They're water signs. Earth signs are good too, but man, when you have those water signs, they are motherly, and they're there, and they have the snacks.
Yeah. The nurturing signs.
Yes. All right, Uranus and Gemini. So kind of back to that Aries energy, not as loud and as dominant, but more of a thinking kind of way. Like, this is somebody who's innovated in the way that they think. They think very differently. They come up with the ideas. There's this change that happens, often, and they're fine with it because Gemini is shifty. They do change. They're mutable. And so when you have a Gemini Uranus, and depending on other things in your chart, it can be very, you could be the person that really thinks of the new ideas, comes up with, or makes the change based off some idea that really is different than what the norm is. This is a very good placement for somebody who is not with traditional ways, very untraditional, very sporadic. Your life events can be probably just all over the place. Travel, short travel, happens a lot in this area, and just kind of the area direction, depending on the house, again, it really throws a huge. Maybe we should do these together because it is very impactful on the house. But just through your life, there's just things that come to you, ideas, and the way that you think, and the themes of your life that really show up are just very mentally stimulated. Like, I'm trying to think of a good example to how to explain this. Just the events that go on in the world maybe even shift when your generation comes, because it takes 84 years for it to go through the entire sign.
Yeah.
It's 7 years. And so, I mean, by the time your generation gets up to where they, you're a teenager, you can't do a lot. Some do, but I would say younger adult years, that's where the change happens. And that's where it's okay, the way that this shifts is in an intellectual kind of way. People are thinking differently. They're thinking outside of the box. They're communicating maybe they have a new shift in maybe from when iPhones. We should see when iPhones came out and what Uranus was changed. It was a very communicative way of now we can text all the time and you can call, and then now we have social media. That was a big shift. I'd be curious to see what Uranus was in during that time frame, because that's what I'm talking about. Your generation shifts, and depending on where you were at that time, that's kind of how you adapt to it or how you handle it, whether it be, this is great, or Taurus might be I don't like all the change. It changes and it shifts, and depending on what yours kind of aligns with, it can be very good or very challenging.
Yeah.
So
the Neptune slides are going to have some historical facts that go along with them. So Neptune will be a little more. This one didn't come with examples, but it should have, because it's so generational.
Yeah, very generational. So.
Oh, sorry, that's me.
I'm should I say more? Maybe.
I'm on meds, so yes, remind me.
No, you're good. So this one, again, Taurus, kind of slower energy. It's not necessarily slower. It's very nurturing. It's very coddling. So if you have Uranus in Cancer, your life events probably move at a little slower pace, but you are a starter. You're a cardinal sign, so you do have that starter energy. These people can be trusted, again, depending on other things. I don't want to say this and you'd be like, oh, this person's trustworthy, and they have a square of all the things, and it could be a nightmare. It could be in the 12th house. We'll go into that. I can't be trusted. Sagittarius and the 12th house do not trust me. And certain things I'm good. But so when you have it in Cancer, there's a real growth here for nurturing, being the person that shows up with the food, the snacks, the blankets. It's not just snacks, that's more Taurus thing, but they show up with the comfort. They show up with good home cooked meals. That's what I think of in this. A home cooked meal. Anytime I see Cancer, it's Cancer energy in a generational, how you all handle the change, how it happens, how the change happens. It's very abrupt. It's very quick. I'd say it probably doesn't happen as much when your Uranus is in Cancer, because it's more of a steady, consistent thing. There's some people, I don't know about you, Julie, but for my Sagittarius, people never know what I'm gonna do. They're just oh Jesus, she's doing this, and now what is she doing that? And she, I'm very shifty, very changey. This one's not like that. This one's more subtle in the changes, but truly a rebel, because Cancer, they like traditions, but when you have a Cancer Uranus, it kind of you have a different perspective on tradition, so it kind of breaks that up a little bit, which is nice. All right, Uranus in Leo, very expressive, very extra. I mean, these people, things shift and change. They want to know about it, huh?
An extra Leo.
Extra Leo. it's loud, it's abrupt, it's crazy, but they also want everyone to know, like, hey, these are the people that are posting on Facebook all the time, yelling about the things that are happening in their lives. Just kidding. It's not totally that, but they do want to be very expressive. They want to let people know what they're doing when the shift changes, or media people. I think of media people because they like to really announce like things that are going on in the world, and they want everyone to know, and they're expressive in it. And so when you have a Leo and Uranus, this generation, they are active because Leo is an active sign. They are a little more nurturing than an Aries and or Sagittarius,
Oof.
because Sagittarius and Aries are both fire, but they're not as they don't have as big of hearts as Leos do. Sometimes they don't. I mean, I'm saying nice things about Leo today. Look at me go.
You woke up on the right side of the bed.
Yeah, but these people, I'm trying to read some of the notes here that you have. They have luck in gambling. Yeah, so this is someone who does typically find themselves lucky in a lot of things, because Leo is I mean, I would definitely say Leo has like more luck on its side than not 9 times out of 10, depending on where it's at. But very independent, very strong-willed. These people are good. They're right there with the Aries. They're not the front line, but they're like in the middle. Like, yeah, we got you. We have your back. And they stand strong and they stand tall and they are loyal and they do have their back. So that's kind of Uranus Leo energy. Virgos. Like I was saying, Taurus earlier, how they just slow and steady, and the change happens, but it's very subtle. Kind of that energy, not as slow as Taurus. It's very Mercury energy, a little stronger, but also very organized. These little generational creatures have an organization skill that they really, depending on other things in the chart, really can utilize and be very proficient and just on their shit. So when you have a Virgo and Uranus, it gives you a sense of direction in being different, being bold, but also doing it in a way that's kind of more planned, more organized.
Organized chaos.
Organized chaos, yes. Perfected. Like they're not just throwing themselves out there and just like, let's see how this goes. They're more like, okay, we'll throw ourselves out there, but we need like a timeline, and we need like points, and we need
Maybe a
different
pro and con list.
Yeah, a map. These people need a map. So they are out there. They can be very eccentric, very different. They're ruled by Mercury. So Virgos are thinkers. Geminis are thinkers in just the most sporadic, crazy way, but Virgo is the thinker of like practicality and tactic. They're very tactical. So this whole generation just really, I wouldn't say does amazing with sudden change, but that they can adapt, and when they do, they really use their mental stimulation to kind of bring out the best qualities of themselves through that.
Oh, I like that. It's cute.
My baby's losing her shit upstairs, just so you know.
Oh no.
She's being watched. All right, Uranus in Libra. So this person really finds power through relationships, partnerships. Doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. It could be platonic, but they engage through life, and things happen, and it's like they could be on different adventures based on what type of partnerships they entertain or what they find themselves getting into. They're very fair-minded. These are the people, the little generation of 7 years of people that fair-minded. They like being diplomatic. They have this way about them that in the time that they grow. I'm trying to think of like an era that this would make sense, that like the 70s.
Yeah.
Like this is that kind of era. This is like fun and free and love and happiness, and they but they protested. There were a lot of protests. There were like, hey, we've got to stop this. This isn't right. And a ton of things that like Libras are very they're very chill. They can be very laid back, but they also like they rally when they feel like something is unjust. We rally. I say it like I'm not a Libra. We rally. So yeah, we have that like thing in us that's like, okay, this isn't fair. We're gonna fight to make it fair. We're very underdog energy. We love an underdog. I cannot express to you how much I'm like, oh, like you need help, I got you. Like, so that it's kind of that era. It's very loving, very passive, but also like can rally if something is unjust. And
That makes
depending
a
on what
lot of
other
sense.
aspects are, you either, show up or maybe more quiet in the background of that. So
I think when I was doing the Neptune slides, they're putting in the years, and I think Neptune and Libra is the era of the 60s, 70s, like free love.
oh, 100 like let's all just
Yeah.
vibe and chill. Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it's
And then
really
you have
interesting. I'm gonna
Scorpio, the 80s.
Yeah.
It's all
So
dark
little
and makeup and like heavy rock
speed.
or yes, yeah. Yeah. It's wild when you really think of like generations and you line the signs with them and you're just like,
Yeah, I've been telling everyone if you like history and astrology, you're gonna want to tune in for Neptune.
yeah, Pluto. Whew, Pluto I love Pluto is just so interesting to me. But
I'm so excited.
all right, Uranus and Scorpio. So this person is very there's a depth to them. There's an understanding to things. There are life in this person's chart is very, and in this like generational, events that are going on are probably a little more heavy, a little more required, more emotion, more understanding, more feeling than like the 70s, which we were just see. That's not this energy. It's
This is
very
in more
sexual
in
and
depth.
more in depth. Yeah. I mean, I talk about being a shallow Libra all the time. Like, I can admit that I'm very shallow. Like, I'm fine with it. I've accepted it. I used to be really like, no, I'm deep and I read poetry. And like, I read poetry only to seem like a deeper person. Like, I really was like, this is so stupid. I hate this. Like, why am I doing this? This is like that poetry depth, beautiful, dark, deep, dive person. Like, or I keep saying person. It's not really a person. It's just what you go through. You transform in a very heavy kind of way, and it doesn't happen like it's not a quick. It's not like Gemini or Aries. It's not like a bold, quick. It's more graceful. It's more beautiful, and it you rebel in a very sensual kind of way. You rebel very differently than a lot of the signs. And Scorpio is all about transformation. So it thrives here, but in a weird kind of way because Uranus is abrupt and it's different and it's eccentric and it's, out there. And Scorpio's not so much of that, but they do learn and they do mold and almost said transform in a very delicate way. So there is that kind of thing that they might have to learn how to like slow it down if something changes all of a sudden and they're not ready yet, just like taking their time and transforming into whatever time works best for them.
Very cool. Here we are.
Yes. Rebels
Tyler
without
from Santa
cause.
Cruz Tyler's also Sag. That's
Nice. We are the rebels without a cause. I'm telling you, like we are the beginning. It has to be. I need to look because I'm going to say this and we're probably at the end or something. But I feel like the beginning of the whole millennial like trans, like how it all like hard work all day, and we're still part of that. Like it was really trendy during like my younger years to work and grind and just like put everything into everything. Like you worked until you like I enjoyed working long hours. I don't know why. I just felt like I was being more successful. I was more like, oh, this is gonna make me more something. I don't know. I was really driven by the fact that working more and to like work myself to the bone was kind of like that energy. You would think mine was in the 10th house, but my son's in the 10th house. That explains a lot. But when you have Uranus and Sagittarius, you truly are a rebel. You hate order. You want to fight just because it's like what you're supposed to do. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to just do the opposite of anything because you do not like traditions, you do not like order. You think that rules are really necessary. Like, I think there's, depending on your whole chart, but rules are necessary, but like not for everyone, just for some people that can't control themselves. Yeah. So you're right there with the Aries. They're fighting physically. You're on a mental fight. You're on like, well, what about this? Those people that question everything and like, oh, there's this and what is this? Like, we like to get under people's skin by being like, well, technically, and the knowledge. Because Sagittarius, we have knowledge. We have knowledge. We like to call people out and make them uncomfortable, and that's how we cause people to transform and change and shift, by making them think, because that's ultimately what we want. We want them to be on the same page as us. Not saying we're know-it-alls, but we know some things.
Yeah, for real. Tyler said, I wore my ankles out working 18 hours.
I'm telling you, I don't know what your sun is and your what house is
Aquarius.
But is it Aquarius?
His son's Aquarius. I'm almost positive.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I'm telling you, there's that, like, when you have the Sagittarius with an air sign, sun, it's just like you're driven by working to the bone. Like, it's just, and you feel successful. You feel like you've completed something or you've accomplished something. And I didn't accomplish anything. I just was
just exhaustion. Yeah. And like a wore out body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, it makes no sense, but here we are.
We're slowly changing the molds.
Oh yeah, we're evolving as a human race. I have to say something really fast. This is not even related to the topic, but I have been seeing dogs do more human things. Like, I watched a dog play peekaboo, like with his partner. I'm like, we're evolving. The dogs are evolving. The dogs are literally about to be our children, that are like real babies. Cats might be getting there too, but I watched a dog play peekaboo. He literally covered his eyes with his paws and was like holding his head down and counting. And I was like, the fuck is this?
Winston's just literally like been my puppy on this whole like surgery journey.
I love that.
Yeah.
So
Tyler is an Aquarius.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, Aquarius sun. And we grew up in Costa Rica for a year and a half together. When I was 10 years old, we were in like, that's how we met.
Just wild. Were you guys rebellious? Were you rebellious when you were younger?
Oh, me? Yeah, but I had to like be secret rebellious. I basically lived a double life as a kid.
Oh, yes. Because you had the fourth house.
I had all my Christian like cassette tapes, and then I would white them out, and I knew when the songs on the radio were coming on for Green Day, The Offspring, the Cranberries, and I'd record it onto the cassette, and then I'd like secretly mark it with like a specific marker to know which songs it was.
I love that. I love that.
And then like I had them like under my mattress. Like, it was a whole operation.
That is so wild that you say that. And I'm wearing brand new shirt, because I literally, like, to sneak brand new into my house, I'm like, look, they've got all these Christian songs. Jesus Christ. They have a lot of references about church and like all the things, but they are not a Christian band. My grandparents had no idea. They're like, oh yeah, this is great. And I'm in there like sneaking the 12th house, Uranus, just sneaking music.
Yeah, and my old roommate in New York, she was friends with them somehow, and I was like always dying to like try to get to know them.
I know. I had a friend tour with them. They were one of their openings, and I'm like, you know them? And he's like, yeah. And it was after the whole thing with the band member got weird. I don't really know. I didn't read too into it, but I'm like, wait, you know them? He's like, yeah, I toured with them. It was no big deal. I'm like,
no big deal.
So I'm like, fangirled out.
Yeah.
Friends like, no, don't do that. I'm like, but I love them. I never met them. It's fine.
It's fine.
No. All right, Uranus and Capricorn. Now that we've gone on a totally different tangent.
my meds kicked, and I apologize.
It's fine. We want you to read this whole thing in your meds now.
Oh God.
I'm just kidding. All right, Uranus and Capricorn. Study does not like change. This one is probably a more challenging one. They are very good at getting the job done. This is a whole generation of people that are, consistent, precise. They are, natural leaders. So it comes out, but again, it doesn't come out like Aries. They're not that kind of a leader. They come out very uh, confident, very strong, very well put together. The decisions that are made for this, things might be shifting and changing, but this person responds to it in a way of practicality and organization, and just kind of putting it together, like, how does this affect me? What, again, a list, kind of like Virgo and Taurus, but way more energy. I would say Capricorn out of the earth signs have, I say that Virgo's energetic as well, but more mentally, where Capricorn, it's got that cardinal energy. It's more physical. Like, it kind of shows up in more of a physical way, like get the job done. It's like the person taking control, but in a very organized, just well conducted kind of person. So if you have Uranus in Capricorn, you probably don't love the change. You probably, when things are changing and shifting, you're probably not one of those people that people are like, oh, like, what are they doing now? You're probably very consistent in your life, depending on other aspects in your chart. But when things do shift or change, your approach to it is very uh, particular. Like, you notice the small details of things, but you also see the big picture. That's kind of a great quality that Capricorn has, is they have the ability to attention to detail, and they also see big pictures. Like, it's kind of really cool, and that's kind of why they're so good at business, is because those two things go hand in hand. Like, you can't miss the small details, but you can't be so fixated on the small details that you can't see the bigger picture. So that is a really good quality that Capricorn has, and when you have that in Uranus, it gives you this capability of accepting the change, seeing the little things, but also being like, okay, in the long run, this is really going to be beneficial because of X, Y, and Z. And you probably have a spreadsheet because that's just who you are. And that's great. I love that for you. I'm here for that. So that is Uranus and Capricorn.
That's hilarious. And I love a good spreadsheet, man.
Oh, yeah. And these are the total opposites. My
Oh my
husband is
gosh.
like Aquarius, and he is a rebel. Like, he has so many, like, I mean, he has a lot of great qualities, but he is just like, he loves to do the opposite of the norm. And he does. He pushes boundaries all the time with all the things. He loves to. He's like, oh, okay, well, you don't want me to do this. I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it in a very eccentric way, but also like subtle. There's a subtleness to it. So when you have Aquarius, Uranus and Aquarius, which this is where it thrives. This is where rebellion really just fights and comes out, and it's for the better of humanity. It's for the better, to make things better for the people, for the group, for the whoever it is that you're rallying for. These are very strong, again, very good with taking in the underdog and trying to be there for the underdog. They're unique. They're very, the way they think and the way that they process and how they move is just very different. And so I always like when I see an Aquarius Uranus, because I know they're going to be eccentric and different and in their own ways, and they don't really give a fuck what anybody thinks or says, because they've got that, like, I don't give a fuck attitude. And I love that. I love it. I don't give a fuck attitude.
Yeah.
So,
honestly.
and his sun is Gemini and his Uranus is Aquarius, so they trine and they really flow and they come together in a way to where, he's never been in jail. God, given like a square, if I saw someone with, and this isn't a square, but a Capricorn sun and an Aquarius Uranus, I'd be a little worried that they might do jail time. Because that's, Capricorn is very structured, but also can be reckless, especially with like the wrong moon. I've seen a Capricorn moon or a Capricorn sun with a Pisces moon that was very challenging to watch, with like in a Uranus and Aquarius. Definitely destined for some legal issues. And
Interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting how you take a whole chart and you look at it and you're like, oh Jesus. But these people are very innovative, very expressive. They're definitely the ones that are changing the world behind the scenes, in front of the scenes. It doesn't matter. They can really flow to any kind of area of the change. So they're very humanitarian. like, and they do focus on the greater good of the people. My husband loves when we have food that's about to go bad. Like it's probably got like 2 days left. He's like, let's heat all this up and take it to the streets, and we go and we feed the
Aw,
homeless. Like he loves that. Like it
that's so
drives
sweet.
him. I know it's super sweet, but it's like
I
the
love that.
community, like he's there for that. And he
Yeah.
sits and he listens to their stories and wants to know like how they got to where they were. And that helps him understand and build like empathy with them and for them and makes him want to help them. So that's that kind of energy here. So
Aw. Which is actually so timely because we're collecting items for the unhomed right now for our next new moon. So
I
yeah,
love
keep that in
yes.
mind.
Yeah. Be good.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got cat hair in my nose.
You're good.
He's like
All
on
right.
me.
He's like, love me.
You're fine.
All right, Uranus and Pisces. These are emotional, sensual people. Again, kind of Scorpio, how I would say, like they're not the best with the change. Although Pisces, I would say, is better than Scorpio. Scorpio's fixed. Pisces is mutable. So it's kind of like, oh, I can handle change. But
Go with the flow a little.
yeah, it's just, you know, this kind of area can unlock a whole area of, depending on other aspects in your chart, of like real um like psychic abilities. This is kind of like it's rebellious, and this is Neptune, depending, there's a few things here, but that could really channel that. But if having a Pisces in any sign can activate an intuitive um part of your brain or your spirit or whatever, however that works, I'm not really sure. But this is kind of a generation of feelers and really feeling things and using intuition to drive and push forward and really understand what's going on, but not so much of it being like right in your face, feeling, knowing what's going to happen, knowing things are shifting, knowing things are changing. You're very in tune with the shifts of the earth, of the, you know, culture, whatever it is, you feel it. They feel it instantly. And it's kind of, it could be a really good thing, or it could be something, depending on other things in the chart, that can cause them anxiety or cause them stress. And they don't even know why. They're just like, I don't know why I'm feeling anxious all of a sudden. It's because they're feeling, you know, change and shifts and whatever is changing and shifting. So that can be a little nerve wracking. That can be really challenging if you're not aware of it and you're not in tune with it. You could just be like, sorry, my computer's doing something weird. Remind me later. Okay, please don't go away. Did that cut out at all, or were we good?
No, you're good.
Okay, perfect. It was about to like restart, and I was like, no,
Okay.
please don't. I mean, we made it to the end. I think you could go to the end. But yeah, so this is just kind of that energy of real deep psychic awareness, intuition, strong feelings, also, you know, nurturing like a Cancer, but more not so Cancer like to where they're there with the blankets and everything. These are the people that are going to sit and look you in the eyes and listen to you and you know, feel what you're feeling, because a lot of times these are empaths. You know, anything in Pisces can bring out this empath energy. So when you're sitting there and you're listening to someone and you're truly listening and focused on that person, you can feel their story, you can feel their emotions. And this is no different in this placement. It's not so much personality, but it does give them the ability to feel and kind of understand and empathize with that person. So
Beautiful.
beautiful.
So we technically are in Uranus retrograde right now, it looks like. Uranus is in Taurus in retrograde. So I don't want to read all of this, but if you guys want to pause this and read, I don't know if you have anything to add to Uranus
Well, I
retrograde.
will say Taurus, you know, Uranus and Taurus retrograde is a little more subtle. It might awaken you to your finances and how you handle things, and maybe doing them in a different way, or abruptly changing them, or structuring them differently, or your possessions, things like that. So just kind of watch for those things. Make sure that you're not being reckless, because Uranus can be reckless energy, and Taurus is the opposite of reckless. It's the complete opposite. It's more like have a plan, have a savings, you know, just being comfortable and stable. So just make sure that you're channeling that you're really engaging in that, and don't let outside factors come in and shake up your world because it's only temporary. And reacting, it's important how you react to these sort of retrogrades because they are temporary. They are here to show you something, but don't do something so crazy that it ruins your life. So best advice I can give on a Uranus retrograde because it's rebellious. It likes to rebel, wants to be out there, wants to be crazy and non-traditional. And so just keep that in mind. If you're feeling a little spunky lately, just calm down. It will pass.
I feel a little spunky lately.
Good word choice.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. I don't know. A lot of people are messaging me like about not being in a good place, and I'm like, wow, there's just such a heavy energy right now.
Yeah.
That Scorpio
Daily
moon is
living, I don't know.
wild.
I know we are all in bed by 7 o'clock. Like we are tired as fuck.
Yeah.
And that's okay. It's okay. I went to bed at 7 last night. It's fine. You know? I'm good about it. Salem and I went to bed at the same time.
That's hilarious. I have like all my pills organized into quadrants, so like morning, noon, evening, bedtime. And last night I was like ready to go before like at the evening ones. I'm like, but I still have a whole nother set of pills I have to wait 4 hours for. I'm like, oh my god,
You're like, I'm gonna set an alarm.
I'm so tired. Yeah.
It's definitely I feel so bad for like little babies and dogs and like animals that are like so I just don't get it. I still don't get why we do it.
Yeah,
Arizona,
I don't either.
why aren't we doing what Arizona does? I don't get it.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, my cats are like at the auto feeder, just sitting there, like, and now they're like very confused, and they slept for 12 hours yesterday.
Seriously, my cats at 6 o'clock are like, I'm like, it's not 7. Like, you just gotta wait. In the spring, you're gonna be super stoked because you're gonna get fed an hour early. Like, what?
But like, it's just not natural.
No, it's not.
Well, next week we're coming back with the Uranus and the houses, which is obviously apparently the most important part of this piece of this puzzle. But we only have time for things in pieces, so we'll be back.
We're going to talk really fast to get all of that in.
Yeah, where there's so much to put together. All right. Anyways, well, thank you everybody for watching, and Megan and Elle, thank you, and we will see you guys next week. Bye.